right, I just bought this Florida Queen peach tree to add to my collection. I'm trying to go a little heavier with peaches on the property now. And I just planted this one. And then I have this other variety I just bought. It's called Flora Home, I believe. Let's see here, yeah. Florida Home peach. And I'm gonna be putting this in the ground, kind of by this old stump. This all used to be woods here. And this was an old tree stump. It's finally rotting away, but I think I'm gonna go a little off. There's a little darker section here. Turn this thing around. Yeah, there's where the old stump is. It's rotting away pretty good. And right here, there's like a little mound, and the dirt's a bit darker. Got a good mix of sand. And my property ravines down to a wetland. And towards the front, it's sandy. And as you keep going towards the back, like midline, probably about here, it starts turning into more loamy. And the further back you go, once you get back into the woods, it's almost like solid clay. But anyways, since it gets so cold up here in the winter time, and we haven't had a freak winter up here in a while, this area has experienced lows, I think as low as 8 degrees, like in its 100-year history. And those kind of temperatures would probably kill all my citrus trees. So in a sense, I have a risk with losing a good food supply source. But trees like these plum trees, look at this thing, man. It's just loaded. You know, these can handle low temperatures. They're meant to fall asleep in the winter and come back. Same with peach. So I want to establish some peaches here. This is a, what's it called, a Suwannee peach. And this one I pruned correctly. It takes a little longer to get established when you do that. You whack the bottom and you buy it, but then it grows in a nice vase shape. This is very low to the ground. It makes for easy picking. And I don't know, I might just leave this one alone, both of them actually. Let them do their thing. But the idea is, let me turn this thing back around. I kind of have this idea of walking back here, this pathway. So you got plum tree, and citrus, pear, another plum tree, and then you just got like peaches, another peach, another peach, lemon. Eventually let it turn into like a nature walk. That's the idea in the future. I'm gonna stop focusing so much on the grass back here, like mowing it and making it look nice. I just think that's a big waste of time. I hate grass. You know, like, look at this. Like, I kind of let this, I haven't weed eated in a while in this area. And you can see this citrus here along the fence line. I got a couple different grafted varieties on it. I let wild flowers grow, and I just like the look of it. I like the vibe of it. And I don't know, just the amount of work it takes to make it look nice. I don't even care at this point. I'll leave that for the front yard. But for the backyard, I'm gonna start focusing a little more on letting nature do its thing. I will run the lawnmower through the area just to generally clean it up, but I want to start letting some wild plants grow just to kind of mix in and give it more permaculture. But anyways, let me get back to the peach. All right, so I just dug the hole out. And it's about twice the size of the pot. Dig a little deeper. Now, it kind of defeats the purpose to grow your own food and then go to the nursery and buy a bunch of stuff to support your trees. You know, I don't buy bone meal or fertilizer or things like that, because like by the time you spend all that money, you might as well just go buy the peaches from the market, which I guess you can make the argument they won't be, you know, fresh from your property. But I got this compost pit, and I've let this break down quite a bit over time. And I'll come here and sift it out. It has just vegetation, egg, shells, all kinds of stuff. Old macaroni from the kids eating. And yeah, just breaks down. Look at that. A bunch of leaves and stuff from the yard. I'll just sift it through this wire mesh. And I'll load the bottom of that hole. This material. It's kind of hard to do while holding the camera. Give the tree something to feed off of for a while. And I'll show you what I do to the top. Alright, so here's some of that sifting material. Looks mostly like dirt. Smells very earthy. I just unpotted it in the nursery pot. This guy is just below the ground here, which will make for a good mound, so I think I'm going to keep it there. Of course, I like to agitate the roots a bit, just to give it a little wake up, and I'll help the roots want to grow out. Been root down in the pot for such a long time. Mixing some native dirt here. Ooh, we got ants. My favorite. I'm gonna have to do some gang warfare here. Go get another ant pile, dump it. And those ants will go at it, and it helps. It's not a cure-all, but definitely makes a difference. And I gotta kind of get all the dirt from this grass and roots loosened up and back in the hole. This is some decent soil around here. A little sandy, a little loamy, dark. Seems to do well with the citrus and everything else. All right, the next thing I like to do is take this extra dirt, kind of ring it around and kind of create a little bit of a mound in a circle. It's very hard to do while holding a camera. Anyways, for the top dressing, I always save a bunch of material from when I sift and old pieces of wood. I just let it rot. So I'm going to be pulling this out and throwing it all around this thing on top. This is going to have worms and bugs and all kinds of stuff in it. This will give it a good mulch base and stuff to feed it, and good organic quality material. Several worms in here, in this mix of rotted material. Also, a lot of fungus. I think this is good for the soil microbiome. Anyways, I'll get back to spreading this out. I'll show you the finished product. Start spreading this wood out. See, it's got some mycelium looking stuff on it. I think that's a good part of permaculture that a lot of people don't look into, is the soil with fungus growing. And this also came from a fire pit, so it has some char on it as well. See, that's charred there, so it'll have a little bit of a biochar component to it. I think this promotes very good growth for the tree in a natural way. I believe all those chemical fertilizers and stuff that people put on it, it takes away from the fungal growth, and you lose out on that. Being from Miami, you know, I'm a big mango fan. I do have a mango tree up here, but I just have room for one in my greenhouse. It's about all I can handle for a cold tolerant tree. And I feel the next best thing to mangoes are peaches. So I'm just gonna start focusing on peaches a little bit more. And again, also kind of as an insurance policy. Yeah, you can see the char on here. I usually put big logs around my fire pit, and they'll get a little burned on the edges. And then when they rot down, I'll throw them into a rotting bucket like this with all kinds of stuff, and just let it break down. Also help keep the soil cool, mulched, promote environment with worms and fungus and all kinds of good stuff. It was a good workout getting out here and a little morning sweat in. Something like that. I did something similar here. I have another pile that I have rotting. And this will be the start of a planted peach tree. 2 of them. In addition to this peach. And I don't know what kind of peach this is, but I bought it because it was only $15. I might have to wire these in. I have had deer getting in here and they love eating peach tree leaves. I'm working on a fencing project right now to kind of prevent them from coming in, because the existing fence, they were able to jump it. I had a lot of evidence of deer coming in and just devouring certain plants. They're very picky on what they like to eat, but what they do like to eat, they go full force at eating it, including peach trees. I'll see you on the next one.